Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be ranking the films in the Fast and the Furious franchise to get ready for the Fate of the Furious next month. Now this franchise started back in 2001, it has spawned 8 films now. After next month it has reinvented itself a number of times, always tried to up the ante with the spectacle, and surprisingly enough it shows no signs of slowing down and seems to only be getting more traction among fans. To me these films are as awesome as they are absurd, and they never fail to entertain. This franchise has built itself on many classic moments that fans just can't get enough of, like constant reminders to never turn your back on family.
There's always room for family.
We're family. Han was my family too.
You don't turn your back on family.
Awkward use of the word cuz.
Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
Tyrese's inevitable questioning of the plans.
We need to get the hell out of Dodge. It was not my plan. The plan is busted. This is bullshit. I didn't really plan on dying today.
I said we stick to the plan.
You say what?
Trendy hip-hop cameos.
This is London, baby.
It's too slow to make away with the money, man.
What is that? Come on, you.
That's the girl I heard so much about.
Abnormally large groups of wholesome women. The many emotions of Vin Diesel.
Watch your back!
Loads of eye contact.
Where?
Impossible feats of strength. The world's longest runway. Ludacris explaining things to us.
A Class 3 electronic lock with a surefire Griffin retumbler and a biometric palm scanner.
That's high-tensile titanium cable.
What does that mean?
If they use God's eye, it'll tap the cameras around town to find our location.
Which means we could plant a virus.
The eye chip is hidden in a speed drive installed in the Prince's car.
Nah, it's hooked into a digital sync. They know we were in the system.
One spectacularly cheesy line that wasn't ride or die.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
And now come April 14th, we have the Fate of the Furious, which played out like this in the trailers. Yet for some reason, all I heard was this.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
But regardless, this male soap opera is only ramping things up more with this 8th film. Vin Diesel breaks his own rule, he turns his back on his family. We have what looks like a nuclear submarine involved in a car chase, more of Tyrese questioning the plans, and we get Charlize Theron as the villain, who looks like she raided all the chiffon from Janet Jackson's Unbreakable to her wardrobe closet, as well as one hell of a reminder that just because two people are pretty does not mean they cannot share one gross kiss. Yet, as ridiculous as it all may look, I cannot wait to see it, and I will not be shy about it. This franchise is a guilty pleasure to me, and there are so many more interesting elements to this film coming out, most notably how the series is going to move on after the tragic passing of Paul Walker. So let's get into this list and start ranking the 7 films of the Fast and Furious franchise. Coming in at number 7, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift from 2006. Now this was the 3rd film in the franchise and was missing more than just the presence of Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. It felt like a cut and paste story, and Lucas Black did his best but just did not carry this film in my opinion. There were some visually appealing Tokyo settings, the drift racing elements did provide some fun moments through the skillful direction of Justin Lin. The film also introduced the likable character of Han, played by Sung Kang, but overall this one was far from great and one of the more forgettable films in the series to me. Coming in at number 6, Too Fast, Too Furious from 2003. Director John Singleton took a stab at the franchise with the second film, and while many panned this sequel, I found it to be a good time. The element of street racing was still a focal point, and I thought the chemistry of Paul Walker and the newly added Tyrese Gibson was energetic. I thought the Miami settings were enjoyable, and with new characters played by Ludacris, Devin Aoki, and Eva Mendes, I thought there was more than enough to pass the time through the routine plotline. This film did have plenty of flaws, but for a pure mindless action film, it was more than serviceable. Coming in at number 5, Fast and Furious from 2009. The band got back together for the fourth film in the series, and the result was a definite upswing from Tokyo Drift. Justin Lin was directing once again, the character dynamics were all reintroduced from the first film, and while the plot was once again mostly ordinary for the most part in terms of overall arc, I still thought it delivered tons of great racing, and it was the start of the evolution of the common story formula this franchise would use. I thought the car sequences through the caves were nail-biting, and the soap opera style return of Letty was just pure dumb fun. This was also the film intro for Gal Gadot's character Giselle, and last but certainly not least, the reuniting of Diesel and Walker, something that on its own was enough to make this film more than entertaining. Coming in at number 4, Fast and Furious 6 from 2013. This sixth entry, directed once again by Justin Lin, was the film that took the franchise into full-blown, over-the-top spectacle, and I thought it was a great time. The stunts were wildly large-scale and fun to watch, both from a technical aspect as well as from a pure action film fan. The cast was in full swing, with Dwayne Johnson shining as Hobbs, a great fight scene between Michelle Rodriguez and Gina Carano, as well as loads of other fight sequences, car chases, and a solid villain played by Luke Evans. This film took the franchise to that of the intricate heist genre. There was still some of that nostalgic street racing, but to me, this was the storyline that took the series into the realm of the soap opera, complete with the always laughable amnesia storyline. The runtime was very long, and it didn't waste a minute, filling it with just endless waves of ridiculously enjoyable action. Coming in at number 3, Fast 5 from 2011. Despite the cast returning for Fast and the Furious in 2009, the result was still not as fresh as studios would have liked. With this fifth film, the franchise caught a whiff of potential and decided to smell what The Rock is cooking. They brought in Dwayne Johnson to re-energize the franchise, and it worked. This was the film that really started that evolution from street racing to heist films, and it was a good blend of both. I really enjoyed the storyline in this one, loved the settings, the character dynamics, and watching The Rock chase down O'Connor and Toretto was an enjoyable ride. I thought the third act was a blast and well orchestrated, and with so many spectacular action set pieces, they still felt somewhat grounded in comparison to the future films, making this entry one of my favorites. Coming in at number 2, Furious 7 from 2015. So what do you do when you've hit the 7th film in the franchise? Having seemingly done it all, you enlist the skillful directorial efforts of James Wan, who usually resided in the horror genre, and you don't forget to dump some cars out of an airplane and jump one between two skyscrapers. This was a film that had some flaws, like wasting Johnson as well as the newly added Jason Statham. Admittedly, Statham did have his moments, but there were times he was all but forgotten in this storyline, only to suddenly appear out of convenience. And regardless though, this film was filled with so many insane sequences, you will be on edge with your chin dropped. But what really elevated the entertainment of this movie to me were the fight sequences. Diesel and Statham mix it up, Rodriguez and Rousey go at it, Johnson and Statham also share a night alone at the office, and to me, best of all were the fight sequences between Paul Walker and Tony Jaa. There was so much going on in this storyline, and it really does take the viewer on a ride, with a little side of Kurt Russell sprinkled in there as well. And most important of all, it pays a respectful, touching, and very heartfelt homage to the tragic passing of Paul Walker, and in closing out his character. It was a solid expression of the love they all had for him, and it was a classy film moment that should never be forgotten. And I'm sure you've already guessed it through the process of elimination, but coming in at number 1, The Fast and the Furious from 2001. Sometimes it doesn't get any better than the first, and despite all the outrageousness of the other films, this first one is still my all-time favorite. It was a simple, grounded storyline that introduced the world to street racing and the subculture of that. However good or bad that may have been is up for another debate, but like I said, regardless of the simplicity of this film, the originality of it still holds up today. It was a much more intimate plot that kept itself in the streets of LA, focused more on the character dynamics and the racing, and despite some cheesy dialogue, it just overall felt cheesy in all the great ways. This film is always great to go back and watch, to see things from more simpler times with more realistic character dynamics, and for being able to go back and see the evolution of Toretto and O'Connor's characters, as well as all the rest of them, making this my favorite film in the franchise. And that's my list, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite films are from this franchise. Don't forget to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss anything new. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are all awesome, and I'll see you at the movies.